Dr. Michael Bassett is with me now, and Michael, g'day, nice to have you on the program.
Hi.
Richard Prebble's appointment, what's your take on that to the tribunal?
Oh, I think it'll stir them up a little bit. Richard Prebble is an extraordinary individual and with an amazing mind. I mean, he was a formidable colleague of mine in the cabinet, capable of taking an most of the others were unable to do, and quite frequently turning the procedure that we were thinking of following around slightly and getting a better answer from it. So I think he'll be a plus to the tribunal. Won't necessarily endear him to the others. I mean, the tribunal is a depressing collection of has-beens. I looked at the list this morning. There's 22 of them listed.
Yes.
A desperate need for new faces. Several have been around the tribunal for 20 to 25 years, and several have never done anything else except work for the tribunal or on tribunal-related matters. And that's why somebody like Prebble, with his very wide background of interests, will be a breath of fresh air.
Well, it's just maybe it's time for just some deeper and fresher thinking, because if you look at, and I'm with you on this, if you look at the 20-odd that are there, God, it's exploded to 20-odd, that tells you a story in itself. But they're all of the same, you can just see this, they're all of the same view. They're activists.
Yes.
It's turned into an activist body that they think they're some sort of upper house reporting on government, reporting on the government.
Oh, I think Judge Karen Fox suffers from delusions of grandeur. I mean, she has almost single-handedly brought the tribunal to its rock-bottom public esteem that it has at present. They clearly do fancy themselves as a sort of a Supreme Court alternative on anything to do with Maori matters. And that's not what the thing was set up to do. And now that the historical claims are finished, really it's time to scale the tribunal right back. As far as I can see, there was no reduction in the tribunal membership after the historical claims finished. And the tribunal needs to work out what its role is. It's specified in the Act, but rather generally, and in my view, the tribunal, and hopefully Prebble will be able to help with this, it needs to work out what the treaty really means in today's day and age. And by that I mean the treaty that was actually signed in 1840, not the new versions that keep being imagined all the time. We don't have, and the tribunal has no authority to fiddle around with new interpretations of the treaty. Its job is to deal with the treaty that was signed and which is specified in the Act of 1975.
You need political leadership here. This is what's missing, I think, is that the tribunal almost become a law unto themselves. So they look at the political leadership above them, and so they don't respect them. They don't, especially this lot, they don't acknowledge them, and they will not honour them. But at the end of the day, the Waitangi Tribunal sits there on behalf of the government, and the Crown, so the government must give direction. I think Luxton's been too quiet on this as well. I think there needs to be some... I mean, the Prime Minister needs to give his view, and he needs to be forceful, and needs to say what he really thinks.
Well, yes, but that's true. I mean, to be fair to him, he was pretty new to the whole business of government, and I don't think he has a strong historical background, a knowledge of history, where this all comes from. I mean, I was in Parliament when the original Waitangi Tribunal was set up, and then in Cabinet when its rules were extended 10 years later. And, I mean, there has been just an enormous evolution over time in the role of the tribunal. And the Prime Minister and the Minister of Justice and the Minister of Maori Affairs need to bone up more on where the tribunal has come from and where the sticky points are and what really needs to be done to restore the tribunal's role in modern-day life. It's altogether out on a frolic, publicly paid for by the taxpayer, and it's brought itself, sadly, to rock-bottom status.
It makes a mockery of the whole thing, really, because very few would argue that there have been treaty grievances, that have been tabled, and
some of them are fair too.
And we've settled them, absolutely. And what people won't know, of course, is that there's also the top-ups, because of the fiscal envelope. The first to settle, Tainui and Ngaitahu, were 170 million respectively. That's not their full and final payment, of course, because they've received a number of payments since then. But people, the public pay no interest to a lot of the stuff, and I find if they did, they might even be more outraged if they saw what was really going on. And I just think that Prebble he'll be unpopular, Michael. I mean, he will walk in there. I don't know what's going to be like, what the mood will be like, but my God, Prebble could rock this. It could be like it's like throwing a hand grenade into an office where there's no way out, and the hand grenade goes off.
He's perfectly able to deal with all of that, I think. He'll probably sit and watch for a while and scratch his head and say little. But gradually, after he's arrived at a conclusion as to where the tribunal thinks it's going and what the Act actually says that it should be doing, he'll start telling them a thing or two.